Let us write our story. Let us sign our names. Let the wishes of our hearts be sealed in the book of life. Those lyrics are from a song called The Book of Life. It was one of the first songs that I learned as part of an adult Jewish choir 30 years ago. It's a piece that was written by our choir director and conductor, Cantor Alan Weiner, a dear friend of both mine and Cantor Andy's, responsible very much for us both being on the path that we're on. And the choir was called Kol Echad. Depending on how you spell kol in Hebrew, it's a clever name. It means either one voice or everyone. And of course, the irony of having been called Kol Echad is we were very much an amateur choir with some lovely voices. But one time after a concert at a senior center, lovely people, very appreciative, a lovely woman came up to several of us afterwards and said, "Your choir is so good. I can hear each individual voice separately," which was not exactly the compliment that we wanted, but she said it with much sincerity. So Kol Echad was this beautiful, joyous social group with a lot of music that started a journey that led to my singing in synagogues for decades, in the choir as a soloist, and then cantorial soloist for many years. And really directly to this moment, along this journey that I truly could never have foreseen. And this song, this book of life, has stayed with me for 3 decades. I always think of it at this time of year as a guide and a personal prayer. It's the first time that I'm sharing it in this way. The book of life, the book of blessing and peace, the book of life, of strength, of wisdom and love. May the Holy One grant us delight and joy, and may the works of our hands be set toward acts of kindness. How do we bring ourselves to Kol Nidre night? This night of acknowledging the vows and the promises that we make, and how those words that we say direct our steps on this path of our days. Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sacks of blessed memory spoke often of the quest to find the way to a meaningful and fulfilling life. He asks us from the beyond to stop and consider this idea that where what you want to do meets what needs to be done, that is where God wants you to be. Once more, where what you want to do meets what needs to be done, that's where God wants you to be. And he adds, crucially, to try to not be afraid or utterly dispirited when things don't go as you thought they would. Following the very gentle and loving path of the choir years ago, after a number of years, I had to give it up. Because what I wanted to do was to learn to chant Torah. And there was the perfect class available on the one night of the week that choir met. It was what I wanted to do. I wanted to sing and make Jewish music, but what I needed to do was learn how to chant the Torah and Haftarah and other tropes, the beautiful cantillations that gave me the life that I have had, the work life, for almost 25 years. What I wanted to do met up with what needed to be done. And I truly believe that God was there in that moment. I am so grateful to those of you who submitted yes answers. Taking time for reflection and self-awareness, letting it swirl and refine. And so many of the answers that were sent to me in these last 10 days sit firmly and comfortably at the intersection of what individual people want to do and what they believe and know needs to be done. It's how they and we are writing ourselves into this book of life. Because there, we are told on this Kol Nidre night, is exactly where we are meant to be. We need to trust those voices and follow them. For those voices lead us to ways of pleasantness, and its paths are peace. Some of the yes answers in response to the question, what do I feel called to do in this new year, and to what can I say yes? This is some of what people shared. It's edited just a little for time and for consolidating when people shared similar goals. I say yes to using silence when my words will be unwelcome, or even just keeping my mouth utterly shut when that's appropriate. I say yes to donating to a charity that helps to give homes to those who are unhoused. I say yes to having patience and better coping skills toward hurtful or people who hurt me. I want better understanding of why I let things bother me, and I want to feel better about handling difficult situations. I say yes to making my synagogue a stronger place. I say yes to women's reproductive rights by donating to Planned Parenthood of Greater Texas and Planned Parenthood of South Texas. I say yes to building another underground railroad if it's needed. I say yes to writing my second book. This one will be about successful aging, being the best of your life for the rest of your life. I want to bring comfort to those who are ailing. I'm involved with an organization called Love Letters to the Elderly. I write letters to those in care homes for people who don't receive mail or visitors. I will do additional letters this year. I am volunteering for an organization that works with people who are in addiction recovery. They've asked me to be a volunteer walker for one of their women's groups. All I do is walk with the group, make small talk, and encourage people. I said yes. I'm going to start that next week. I say yes to grasping an extended empty hand. I want to be strong and generous, stay healthy, exercise, and work on my fledgling Hebrew. I say yes to being grateful. I say yes to this mantra: talk less and listen more. I say yes to using order and enthusiasm to attend to my health. I want to pursue health and vigor so that I can walk in the way of God. I say yes to opening not just my wallet, but my heart and my hands to an Afghan family resettling in the United States. I say yes to regular participation in beach and park cleanups. That way I know I'm not alone in my deep concern for the environment. I will reach out to an old friend with whom I had a falling out 40 years ago. I don't even know what we fought about. I just know that I still miss him. I say yes to reading more, to giving people the benefit of the doubt, to withholding judgment, to being present for my 94-year-old aunt and thinking of an activity every week when I'm in town and doing it with her. I say yes to being more aware each day of the preciousness of time and the gift of each day. I say yes to worrying less and celebrating more. Notice that so many of these have at their core a common theme of kindness, of chesed. There's a beautiful poem from the 11th century that is often read in synagogues on this night of Yom Kippur. Its theme is kindness, and its refrain is, "Even before I came to be, your kindness, O God, accompanied me." It asks, who made me, spun the clay, fired the kiln, hardened me? Who breathed life into me, opened the belly of the deep and pulled me out? Who guided me from childhood to today? Though I am but clay in your hands, did not you make me, O God? Why would I try to hide from you? Terem heyoti chastecha va'ani. Even before I came to be, your kindness, O God, accompanied me. But my friends, the truth is so many of us don't think of our lives in those terms, that it is a kindness that we were put here on this earth for just a little while. It's about as close to a kind of dogma as Judaism has, which is that life is good and we are to choose it while we can. We're not supposed to choose it for someone else, and Judaism knows that sometimes life is gut-wrenching and life-altering decisions have to be made. There's nuance and there are circumstances, and there are no absolutes except this one, that life is good and it is God-given and it is not to be wasted or wantonly destroyed, and that people should have a shot at being cared for and having a safety net and all of the good things that people in our list of yes offered. People want to know that there's a safety net and a community and warmth and caring and hospitality, something resembling affordable housing and a living wage, and a hope that when they get to be elderly, they won't be forgotten or discarded. And Judaism knows, as does every single one of us, that it takes a whole lot of giving to make living okay. In the Babylonian Talmud in Bava Batra, we learn every act of charity and every deed of kindness that the people of Israel do is vital in making peace and is an important intercessor for the people with God in heaven. Let us write our story. Let us sign our names. Let the wishes of our hearts be sealed in the book of life. I am so grateful at this time to welcome our dear friend Camelia Latta, playing to the beautiful music of Cantor Alan Weiner, performed by Laura Garner. Camelia, will you share this beautiful piece as we write our wishes in the book of life? Thank you, Laura and Camelia. On this Kol Nidre night, let us do just that as we continue to sign our names in the book of yes, the book of life.